up, gamers? This is NGG here with another review video. This time it is for Yoshi's Crafted World on the Nintendo Switch. I played this as a multiplayer, so I only played a little bit as a single player, so most of it is going to be a multiplayer. So that's what I have for you guys, another multiplayer review. And of course, I never play these multiplayer games alone, and I do have a partner along with me to help talk about it.
Hey everyone, my name is Devine, Cummings voice acting, also known as Minako 97, and I'm here to review this Yoshi game with Nintendo Gamer Gal here today.
Yep. And we're glad to have him. So we're gonna do like we always do with these multiplayer reviews. We're gonna talk about story, gameplay, and give you a rating. Obviously this is gonna be in terms of a multiplayer review and not a single player review. All right, so I will start with the story, and then obviously if I missed anything, just let me know. So the story of Yoshi's Crafted World begins in the very beginning with all the Yoshis around this little wishing star statue thing that had like maybe 6 gems? Was it 6 or 7 gems?
Let's see. I thought it was like 4. I thought it was like 5. Yeah, 5 or 6.
5 or 6? Okay. 5 or 6 gems in it. And then you get Bowser Jr. and that, I forget what the freaking...
The wizard.
The wizard, yeah. I just call him the wizard. I'm sure he has an actual name. But the wizards comes and they see the Yoshis with the island with the stone, and Bowser Jr. wants to make a wish, so he's trying to steal the stone. And in the process of stealing the stone, the Yoshis are trying to save the stone from being stolen, and all the stones shatter apart. And now you have to find the gems that go on the stone throughout the world. And Bowser Jr. is obviously trying to get his hands on the gems as well as so that he can make his wish. So that's the basic gist of the story. Like Bowser Jr. is trying to make a wish, and he's trying to get those gems back. Is there anything I missed in the story?
For the most part, yeah, without going into spoilers, really, yeah, it's just he's trying to make the wish. The wizard is also assisting him. And yeah, I think the rest of it would just be gameplay after that point.
All right, so then let's get straight to it. Let's go to gameplay. I'll let you start.
Okay, so the gameplay for Yoshi's Crafted World, I believe it's called.
Yes.
So the gameplay for Yoshi's Crafted World is either can be played single player or with 2 players locally. There's no online, and they play a bit differently with each other. But yeah, but how the single player and how the multiplayer co-op is handled in this is a bit differently. So if you were to play this game singly or like solo, you would have to find eggs either around the level, or you would have to absorb enemies. When you're playing it with 2 players, you have infinite amount of eggs. And you can also have the other Yoshi carry you or your partner, essentially, and you have infinite amount of eggs. You guys can respawn as much as you want to, and it's just an overall different style of play. Well, there's a lot to go over with the gameplay, but you have essentially the gameplay is you have to collect a certain amount of sunflowers, and what these sunflowers do unlocks different islands and different levels within the map itself. So you'll unlock different stages, and these stages will unlock different courses and different levels and different basically objectives for you to complete to gather more flowers. On top of collecting the flowers, you can also collect coins, and what these coins will do will have you go to this raffle Genshin, basically what do you call it? It's like this RNG slot machine. Yeah,
it's a like gumball machine.
Yeah, the pinball machine where you can get these box sets, like shields, essentially cardboard boxes for shields, and those will help you take less damage throughout the level. There's also boss fights, and within these boss fights, once you get towards later on through the game, you can make multiple choices that will depending on what cutscene you get and what the Yoshis will interact like I believe there's one cutscene where you're fighting a piranha plant, and the Yoshi absorbs the shy guy or eats the shy guy, and then that activates the boss fight. So there's different outcomes for different choices depending on the cutscene and boss fight you come across.
Right. And so with that, this game also has, like, this game expects you to do the level so many times. It expects you to beat the level maybe up to like 4 or 5 times, because you beat the level normally, right? Then you got to go back, and now there are some things called these Poochie levels. So it's like plays the board in reverse, and you got to go back through and try to collect the 3 Poochie puppies. And if you collect them within a certain time limit, you get the big Poochie gives you another sunflower. And then once you beat the game, not fully beat the game, but once you've beaten the boss battle and before the next islands open up, there's a couple of unlockables you can do. There's like this hide and seek mission. We didn't finish the hide and seek mission of every hide and seek character in every bard, but we did do a lot of them because we were looking for, like, because we got to the end and it required a lot of those sunflowers to get to like the final stage, which we never did. I mean, we beat the game, but this was like extra stuff after, beating the game. And we got to like 25 and it wanted 50, but that's after we kept giving them sunflowers. Homeboy was always tired after we gave him the sunflowers. So they want you to find that. Then every board wants you to go looking for specific items in the front and backwards of the board. Sometimes even twice in the board at once. So you talk to the guy at the very front of each board, and once you defeat him, he's going to be like, hey, can you find me this? Can you find me that? So they definitely want you and expect you to go through this game a bunch of times in each level, which I'm not really used to. Usually I'm a one and done kind of gal. Like, I got through the board, I don't want to come back. I usually don't go for 100%ing these kind of games. I'm usually not even a platformer. And to be fair, you were riding on my back. You were like, I can't shoot for crap, guys. So he was on my back while I was jumping and doing all the jumps, and he's throwing all the eggs in all the places they need to go. Doing all the time mission. You want to talk about those time mission challenges?
Yeah, so within each level you'll have like these time missions, and these can vary between like different ones. Like there'll be a time mission for shooting, but then there'll also be ones for collecting blue coins, and then there'll be another one for, spot the difference. So they have very different ones. Like I said, a lot of them range from shooting, and then a couple of them will just be collect all the blue coins within a certain amount of times, and they're very random. They're not like very differentiate before you start. You have to just hit it and know right then and there what kind of sunflower mission it is before the time runs out, essentially.
Right. And every because there have these boards set out into like lots of little mini home boards. So every little mini home stage will give you, you can 100% each one, and each of them also have like these run and gun stages, is what I call them. So sometimes you're on a train and you're having to shoot and get the sunflowers and all the like coins and all that stuff while you're on a moving train, jumping over bats and stuff like that. There are those punchy ones where you're big, there's like fake Mega Yard Yoshi and you're punching these walls, and that's another run and gun stage. They even have, oh my god, and I wish they would have bought this to Mario Kart, like a little Yoshi Kart stage. I don't have any footage of it, but it's super duper cute, guys. And I wish it would have been something that they would have bought to Mario, because it was so fun. It was like using, like, so if you were in the sun, you were in a solar power car and it'd go, and if you weren't and you were in the shade, your car would kind of slow down to a crawl. Super fun. Anything else you feel like I'm missing in the gameplay?
The only thing I would say with the gameplay part is whenever you 100% complete an island or I guess the set map, they would get like confetti surrounding it, or like kind of like sun like kind of like wheels, or essentially they would essentially cover the whole map and be like, hey, you 100% to complete this board, and then they'll like kind of cover it in like confetti and like rotating fans, essentially, like that's made out of plastic or paper.
Cardboard and paper. So this is definitely like they definitely, these stages look like they're made out of cardboard, like if a little kid put them together. And I'm guessing this is a little kid game, right? They have an easy mode and they have a normal mode. I don't know that they have a hard mode, or if they did and we unlocked it, we never played in it. We played on normal mode. I feel like we would leave the easy mode to the children, and it was, for me as a non-platformer, it was quite challenging. I know I did a lot of the platforming, but you did sometimes. Did you find it challenging, or you found it just the right amount of challenge for an adult playing this game?
Yeah, I would say it was the right amount of challenge. The only time I felt like it got difficult was the very last stage, but I don't think the stage itself is difficult or challenging. It's just the fact that they just don't give you checkpoints towards the end, but they also expect you to play that after you beat the game. So and also there's normal mode and then there's casual, so we weren't playing on casual mode, which I'm assuming is easy.
Yeah, that's the easy mode. Yeah, so those run and gun stages without the checkpoints are definitely ones you would get to after beating the main game. So you have to complete the whole level without falling, without dying. If you die, and since we're both playing together, one of us could die while the other one kind of stayed alive, and the other one would try to take over and try to get to a ledge where we could grab onto something. So like at one point, one of us died, one of us was hovering with our little flutter legs while the other one spawned back on top, and then we tried to go higher and spawn back on top and go higher until we could catch a leg, so we wouldn't have to start the board again. Because one time it was right at the end of the edge of the board, like right before the last ledge, we both fell and died and had to start the whole level again. Which, so like I'm saying, this game I know it's meant for kids, but it isn't easy, at least on normal mode for me. I'm not a platformer, again, but for me it wasn't. And you play platformers all the time, right? So it wasn't easy for you either, right?
No, it was quite challenging. I couldn't imagine doing this game solo by myself, so it was definitely a struggle for real.
Right, the struggle was real. So that's enough of story gameplay. Let's get into a rating. So what would you rate Yoshi's Crafted World from 1 to 5?
I would give it, because I wasn't playing this by myself and we were playing it together, I would give it a 4. I really didn't have a bad time with this. I know for a lot of people this is like they were on like a list of like worst games of 2019, but I honestly didn't have that bad of a time. If I was doing this like single player or like solo, maybe, but because we were playing it together, it was both of us, clearing through all the boards, trying to 100% as much as we could, finding stuff, getting Poochies, doing run and gun stages. It honestly wasn't a bad time. Doing it, that's why I was saying at the start, doing it solo or single player wise, it might be a different experience, but because I had somebody along board with the journey, it honestly was a pretty good time. So I would give it a 4 out of 5, and I wouldn't say this was the worst game of 2019 whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm gonna go alongside with you. This was not a bad game. And typically, guys, I hate platformers. I'm not gonna say it was the best platformer. I'm not gonna even say it was a great platformer. But the fun we had playing together and helping each other out, helping each other spot where the items were in the stages, and like if I didn't see it, he would see it, or vice versa. That made this game so fun to play, and I would give it a 4 as well. It's not a bad game. It had enough difficulty for it to feel like a just right difficulty. I never felt like, besides the very beginning boards, none of it was way too easy and I'm like, oh, I can fly through this game. I never felt like it was way too easy, but I never felt like it was overly hard, minus the end after the cutscene credits. But that's if you want to continue the game and 100% it, which we did get a lot of the boards done, but we did not 100% this game. I don't think I will. It's not a game that I'm like, oh yeah, I got 100%. Maybe one day we'll come back to it, just if we're feeling inclined to play a little bit more and do a little bit more. Doubtful, but it was super fun. Mind you guys, this is a couch co-op only, no online. So this is definitely something you have to play couch co-op. And I would say if you have a child, either let the child on your back while you're playing, so you're the one throwing and they're the one hitting things. And it would definitely, or vice versa, let the child have one of the two things and then playing together is so much more enjoyable that way. So that is our review. Do you want to give the audience your exit ticket?
Yeah. So my YouTube channel is Devine Cummings Voice Acting, and my Twitter along the rest with my handles are Devine Cummings Voiceover. Or I'm sorry, Devine Voiceover is the rest of my handles, but my YouTube is Devine Cummings Voice Acting. And thank you, Nintendo Gamer Gal, for having me for this review today.
Of course, it's always so much fun to have you alongside these games and these reviews, and all his info will be in the description below. Thank you for watching, guys. Happy gaming, guys. Bye.